Okay, before I start my presentation, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ifarazik bin Aspian, and my metric number is 03DET22F1027. So before I go through my presentation, I want to explain what does the inflation rate mean. Inflation refers to an overall increase in the Consumer Price Index (CPI), which is a weighted average of prices for different goods. The set of goods that make up the index depend on which are considered representative of a common consumption basket. Therefore, depending on the country and the consumption habit of the majority of the population, the index will comprise different goods. Some goods might record a drop in prices, where other way increase. Thus, the overall value of the CPI will depend on the weight of each of the goods with respect to the whole basket. This chart displays inflation rate from Malaysia from 2014 to 2022. This statistic is from Department of Statistics Malaysia. So here we can take a look that 2014 it go higher, and then after it go to year 2015 it went down, and same to the 2016. After that 2017 is a higher percent that inflation rate is going up. Then start from 2018 it went go down slightly until 2020. After that it going up again in 2021, and then 2022 it going up more and more again. Then in 2023 it's going down. So there is a statistic from Department of Malaysia. So for 2017 until 2020 it going down slightly because they have reason. For example, in 2020 we have a pandemic, which COVID-19, and also prime ministry, we still don't have a prime ministry that year because of chaos that happened to the country, which the government still talking to each other to choose who deserve better to be a prime minister in country. Other than that, the rate increase reflected higher core inflation and higher fuel and price volatile inflation. Here we can see inflation by component from month in Malaysia. So here we have 30.4% for June 21, and July 21 we have 20.2, which go down, and then August 21 2.0, which is a same average from July 21. After that, September 21 it going up 22.2% than before. Other than that, October 21, which is 2.9, it going up again. From November 21 it going up highly 3.3%. Then December 21 it's going down 1%, which 3.2%. January 2.2, March 2.2, February 2.2, and April 2.3. There is no difference, but have some kind of difference, which we can see there is other transport, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel, food, and non-alcoholic alcoholic beverage, and CPI. As the economy reopened and consumers pivoted from expenditure in goods to service sector, demand for transport, hotel, recreation, and culture has risen. Government move toward more target subsidy could result in removal of fuel cap, a direct hit to inflation in the transportation sector.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azri bin Abu Hassan. My matric number is 03DET22F1088. So now I show you the bar graph contribution to headline inflation in Indonesia. The data has been collected from 2020. The y-axis show the percentage recorded by Indonesia, and the x-axis show the amount in 2020. First, look at the bar graph. This title is Contribution to Headline Inflation in Indonesia. Now, look at a subcomponent data. Confirm there has been a downward shift in inflation rate for most goods and services. The downward shift is particularly seen a relatively elevated inflation rate. Some examples include education, restaurant, and other services. We can see start March 2020 until August 2020, the graph increased rapidly. This component relate this is because effect of the pandemic COVID-19 in Indonesia in 2020. And start September 2020, the graph increased until December 2020. This is because pandemic COVID is down slowly. Okay, next, this graph show you about a component of CPI inflation in Indonesia. The y-axis show the percentage according by Indonesia, and x-axis is the year 2019 and 2020. Okay, we can see at the beginning of June 2019, there is a decrease in percentage. In the middle of the June 2019, we can see the graph increase from 2.5 to 3%. At the end of November 2019, there is a decrease of 1% only. At the beginning of April 2020, the graph show a decrease rapidly until the beginning of September. And at 1st September until last September 2020, the graph show the increased percentage. The last graph show the residential property price in the 18 cities in Indonesia. The y-axis show you the percentage according by 18 cities in Indonesia, and the x-axis show the month of year 2019 until 2020. In the first March 2018, the graph show the decrease sharply until the middle of 2018. In the middle 2018 until the middle 2019, the graph show the decrease percentage until 2%. And the middle of 2019, the percent maintained 1.8 to 2%. And the last September 2020, the graph show the decrease percentage until 1.5%. In conclusion, Low inflation suggests economic stability, but too little inflation can indicate economic stagnation or deflationary risk. Moderate inflation is often seen as a target for sustainability economic growth.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirul Shafiq bin Sa'adin. My metric norm is 03DET22F 1084. Okay, the graph show how price change in India over a year from April 2021 to April 2022. It gives an idea of how the economy was doing during that time based on whether the price were going up or down. This information help people, business and policy makers make smart decisions about money. Okay, in April 2021, the inflation rate stood at 4.23%, reflecting a relatively low level of price increase. In May 2021, there was a sharp increase to 6.3%, due the rising demand and supply chain disruption. June 2021 saw a slight decrease to 6.2%, indicating some stability but still at elevated levels. July 2021 witnessed a further decline to 5.59%, suggesting that inflationary pressure were easing. Possibly due to improve to supply chains. In August 2021, continued the downward trend with a rate 5.3%, indicating a slow pace of price increase. September 2021 saw a more significant drop to 4.35%, signaling a notable decrease in inflationary pressure, possibly due to increased production and supply. October 2021 saw a slight uptick to 4.5%, suggesting that inflation was still present but growing slowly. November 2021 marked an increase to 4.91%, indicating a resurgence in inflationary pressure, possibly due to seasonal factor of increased demand. At December 2021 saw a notable jump to 5.66%, possibly attributed to year and spending and holiday related factor. At January 2022 experienced a further increase to 6.01%, reaching a peak in recent months, due to continued demand and supply constraints. February 2022 witnessed a slight uptick to 6.07%, indicating persistent inflationary pressure, possibly exacerbated by global economic conditions. At March 2022, saw a more significant increase to 6.65%, possibly due to geopolitical tension or supply chain disruption. Lastly, at April 2022 marked a substantial jump to 7.79%, possibly driven by rising commodity price and persistent supply chain challenge. Indian inflation rate. From November 2018 to December 2018, the inflation rate in India decreased slightly from 2.33% to 2.11%, indicating a modest decline. In January 2019, it continued to decrease to 1.97%, suggesting a further decline. However, In February 2019, there was a sharp increase to 2.57%, signaling a significant rise. This upward trend continued in March 2019 with the inflation rate reaching 2.86%, indicating a steady increase. By April 2019, the inflation rate grew slowly to 2.99%, suggesting a gradual rise. In May 2019, it increased again to 3.05%, continuing its upward trajectory. By June 2019, the inflation rate increased 3.18%, remaining steady at relatively high level. In July 2019, it showed a slight decrease to 3.157%, indicating a minor decline. However, in August 2019, it increased again to 3.28%, showing a slight rise. In September 2019, there was a significant increase to 3.99%, mark a sharp rise. Finally, in October 2019, the inflation rate peaked at 4.62%, indicating a substantial increase. Overall, the inflation rate fluctuated widely during this period, experiencing both gradual increase and sharp spike. The graph shows Indian inflation from November 2022 to March 2023. So, Indian retail inflation fell to 15 months low of 5.66% in March as compared to 9.65% report in the year ago period. Show data released by the National Statistics Office NSO on Wednesday. According to the CNBC TV18 poll of economists, the forecast CPI was estimated at 5.63%. The retail inflation based on consumer price index CPI was 6.44% in February 2023 and 6.65% in the year's ago period. According to the National Statistics Office NSO, the year-on-year inflation declined in the vegetable basket by 8.51%. Oil and fats by 7.86% and meat and fish by 1.42% in March. However, the rate of price rise in spices was high at 18.2% in March, followed by cereal and product by 15.27%. Fruits too expensive. The overall inflation in the food basket was 4.79% in March against 5.65% in February and 7.68% in the year ago period. The food basket has a weightage of 54.18% in the overall CPI. The retail inflation rose from 5.7% in December 2022 to 6.4% in February 2023 on the back of high inflation in cereals, milk, and fruits and slow deflation in vegetable price. Except for November and December 2022, retail inflation has remained above the RBI's upper tolerance level of 6% since January 2022. The central bank has projected retail inflation at 6.5% for 2022 till 2023, with the January to December quarter at 5.7%. The central bank has been mandated by the government to ensure the retail inflation remains at 4% with a margin of 2% on either side. To contain the rising price, the RBI has hiked interest rates by 2015 basis points since May last year. The latest rate hike of 25 basis points in February took the benchmark policy rate to 3.15%.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azgrazik bin Zamzuri. I'm from DET 4C and my matrix number is 03DET22F1007. Today I'm going to explain to you guys about Singapore inflation rate. First of all, I will explain the inflation. What is mean by inflation? Inflation means the price of things go up over time and the money you have buys less than it used to. It is happen when price rise consistently for goods and services. Inflation can also be happen when it is high demand or increased production costs or even change in how much money is available in the economy. It is important for government and central banks to keep inflation under control to maintain the economy. Next, as you guys can see in this graph, it is about 1 year of Singapore inflation rate. In January 2023, the inflation rate is 6.6%, which is high. In March 2023, it decreased steadily for 5.5%, which means it decreased 1.1% from January. For May, it also decreased for over 0.4%. Next up, for July 2023, it also decreased for 1.0%, and it is remained steady until September 2023, which is 4.1%. In November 2023, it decreased to 3.6%, and lastly, it decreased to 2.9%, which in summary, we can see that from January 2023, it decreased steadily or it slowly decreased until it reached 2.9%, which is quite good for inflation rate. Next, I'm going to talk about percent change in CPI over corresponding period of previous year. It leads up with public transport, private transport, household durables and services, housing and utilities, clothing and footwear, food and all items. If you guys can see in this bar chart or this chart, you can see that the private transport is higher than another and the other. So let's see one by one. For public transport for 2022 August, it is 7% in the range from 5 to 10. It's kind of 7%, and for July it higher a bit from the August. For private transport, we can see that 2022 August is higher, which is in range of 20 to 25 rate. And for July, we can see that it is lower, but still in the same same range in 20 to 25 rate. Next, for a transport, it is 20% or 20 rate. 20%. For 2020 to July, for transport, it is lower a bit from the August, in the same range but lower a bit, which is 15 to 20. For household durables and services, we can see that for August, it ranged from 0 to 5, and July also 0 to 5. For housing and utilities, it is over than 5 rate, and for the July, it is low a bit from August. For clothing, it is for August, it is in a range of 5 to 10, which kinda like 9 or 8 rate. And for July, it is lower a bit, which is kinda 7, but in the same range, which is 5 to 10. For clothing and footwear, for August, is same as clothing, which is 8 or 9, in the same range to 5 to 10. For July, it is lower a bit, which is the same range, 5 to 10. For food, it is also 5 to 10, but more lower than clothing and footwear for August and July. And all items also the same, which is 5 to 10, and a bit higher than food. Next, I'm going to present about Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index measures the cost of a fixed collection of goods and services commonly consumed by the average citizens, with a total of 10 broad categories of goods and services being tracked. From 2009, in this graph, we can see it started with -2 and then increased slowly until 2011, and then it is decreased steadily until 2013, and it decreased slowly until 2015, and then it remained steady until 2019. Moreover, it increased rapidly until 2021, which is 18% rate of inflation.